Here we go again. Letitia James is dragging Trump to court over healthcare cuts. But let's be honest, this has nothing to do with policy and everything to do with politics. Her entire legal staff is starting to turn against her. You guys gotta check this video out.
Listen to this. New York Attorney General Letitia James is now announcing a lawsuit against the Trump administration's Health and Human Services Department over proposed health care funding cuts. So let's bring in Jonathan Turley, constitutional law attorney and Fox News contributor. Jonathan, good to have you here. Of course, this comes just weeks after the DOJ announced that they are actually investigating some allegations of mortgage fraud against Letitia James. She calls that revenge, but the timing of all of this seems a little suspect.
Well, it is par for the course. You know, James has always used her office to target opponents, whether it's Trump or the NRA. She's very selective and she's very open in politicizing that office. And this is the latest of a series of lawsuits by Democratic leaders around the country. And the problem for the Trump administration is they file before favorable courts in blue states, and they're getting these national injunctions. And it's gotten to the point of being absolutely absurd. It means that a president cannot govern unless you can basically run the course with 677 district court judges, any one of which can issue a national injunction. So you've got to win every case 677-0 if you actually want to implement policy. Well, the justices have said, including liberal justices like Justice Kagan, that this is truly insane. And this is just the latest such lawsuit to try to limit what this president can do.
Well, let's talk about how much this could slow the administration down, because now she's calling up all of these AGs in blue states and
I want you guys to realize something really quick. This isn't a healthcare lawsuit, it's a political stunt with a name tag. Letitia James knows Trump's in power now, and she wants to paralyze him with a bunch of paperwork in courtrooms. Let's continue right on to the video.
And asking them to join her on this lawsuit against HHS. I'm not sure who's going to want to jump in on that when she's under investigation herself. But how tangled up can this get for this administration when, like you said, I mean, they're literally facing injunctions and legal action, I mean, across the board.
Well, people need to think about the implications of what is happening. It means that you can be elected as a president, but effectively the presidency is going to be run at the discretion of district court judges issuing national or universal injunctions. That's not really how this is supposed to work. And the constitutional basis for these orders are extremely dubious. Some of these orders I find to be overtly unconstitutional, but they have to work their way through the system. And what these Democrats know is that in the usual course of things, they'll leave a president his third year before he can actually start to implement policy. And that's what's so insane about this. Now, on May 15th, the Supreme Court's going to look at national injunctions. And many of us are hoping that Chief Justice Roberts and the court will finally bring some semblance of order to all of this and deter these district court judges. Because we have a system that's run on people being able to vote in presidents to effectuate change, including looking for waste and in this case, downsizing government. We've got to get back to that. And so that argument on the 15th is enormously important.
Jonathan,
They're trying to cage a sitting president into a courtroom, and the judges are sitting there backing it. They're acting like voters never existed. They're acting like we didn't want what's going on. Letitia James is just chasing headlines. She needs to look after New York and actually do her job. Stop trying to make a name for yourself off of going for Trump. Do your job and make an actual name for yourself. This is crazy.
I want to get your take on this one more thing before we go here. The Minneapolis Attorney's Office apparently wants prosecutors there to consider race as part of their thought process, decision-making when negotiating plea deals. Now, this is the Hennepin County Attorney, Mary Moriarty. As you know, she was elected, after the George Floyd riots, during that progressive movement, to put in DAs and attorneys that would be a little bit more lenient. I imagine you have a lot of thoughts on this.
Well, she's ripping the blindfold off Lady Justice. And the whole idea of justice is that it is supposed to be blind. It's supposed to be based on the facts of the case. It's supposed to make victims not whole, but at least give them some vindication or some assistance for what was done to them. And this is, I think, going to really force the issue again, not just with the administration, but with the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court just said not long ago that in college admissions, when you rely on race criteria, you're engaging in racial discrimination.
I got this, guys. I got this. I really do. They're not just politicizing the courts. They're racializing justice. That is just a horrible, horrible way to think, man, because if you do justice based on skin tone, then only thing you have to do is to scream, it's because I'm black, or it's because I'm white, it's because I'm Hispanic. He pulled me over and he thought I was illegal because I was Hispanic. It's you just play the victim card every chance you get. How would you feel if every time something happened, someone played the victim card? Come on, man. I'm black. I grew up wrong. I'm white. I grew up wrong. It's just horrible to sit there and think like that. Why don't we just come together and realize that Trump is trying to save us while these people just keep trying to protect the people that want to take advantage of us? It's not that hard. I got one more clip for you guys.
So as you can see, Letitia James continues to launch these lawsuits, but she also continues to face mounting issues on her own end. So let's take a look at this post by Sam Antar. It says, our investigation reveals Levy, James's top deputy and the lead attorney against Trump, personally signed a witness to a sworn statement declaring James would make Virginia her, quote, principal residence. A document now central to a DOJ mortgage fraud investigation. So y'all tell me I'm misunderstanding something. Tell me, we already know that Letitia James signed this document, a mortgage document saying that she would be making Virginia her principal residence in Virginia. We already know that. She's all but confirmed that. But are we now being told that her deputy AG actually was a witness to this and signed something saying, oh yeah, I'm witnessing this. Now, I don't know if you could get in trouble for being a witness to this, right? I don't know what the penalty would be, but let's take a look at Sam Antar's white collar fraud website. But first, let's finish up this post. It says, this wasn't just any document. It was the legal basis for a mortgage requiring James to establish Virginia residency by October 30th, 2023. During the same period, she was prosecuting Trump in New York with Levy representing her in court. The Federal Housing Finance Agency has formally referred James to the Department of Justice. Y'all, we covered this in yesterday's video, okay? I'll put a little bit of that at the end of this video so you can see. It looks like things are moving on this case, y'all. With investigators likely to question all parties involved in the transaction, including senior staff witnesses. Now let's go to white collar fraud and get more information. New York Attorney General Letitia James's Virginia mortgage document witnessed by top staff as federal investigation looms. Senior officials from Attorney General's office witnessed declaration during critical period before Trump trial. Here it says, when New York Attorney General James signed a sworn legal document declaring her intent to make a Virginia home her principal residence, she wasn't alone. Two senior officials from her own office, including her first deputy attorney general, act as witnesses. What is going on? This is something that does not fit into my brain. My brain cannot understand or contain this information. Two senior officials from her own office, including her first deputy attorney general, acted as witnesses, raising critical ethical and legal questions about state resources, residency qualifications, and misuse of official authority.
This isn't a
These
mistake.
staffers will likely face interviews as federal authorities investigate potential mortgage fraud. This declaration came just 45 days before James launched her landmark civil fraud case against Donald Trump. And that case was about potential mortgage fraud, y'all, and would have required her to establish Virginia residency during the trial. Y'all, again, my brain can't contain this as something that's, I see it here. This whole thing has been a slow move.
They use state funds to sign off on a personal mortgage. But you want to sit there, come on, you want to sit there and call Trump this such a bad guy. You want to make your name off of Trump, and this is you, Letitia James. This is you. I'm looking at a picture of it right now. That's not ethical at all. That's very unethical. This is Letitia James, man. That's shady government on full display. Let's play this video.
Moving, a slow developing story over multiple weeks. Can this possibly be true? Y'all, I'm gonna leave this. I'll put the link to this in this story in the description if you want to read it and try to digest it for yourself. Okay. Now, James is also being called out for a fiery speech that she gave just days ago, apparently, in front of I believe this is the National Action Network by Rev Al Sharpton. Y'all, we should already know by now, Letitia James, when you put her in front of a mic and you just let her start going, she's going to ramp herself up, and by the end, she's going to be yelling, screaming, and saying all kinds of outrageous revolutionary things. You know, we've seen it before, so it's kind of par for the course. But let's take a look at a little bit of this anyway, y'all. Used as fair use for commentary purposes, of course.
But you elected me to stand up. You elected me to use the law. You elected me to go to court. You elected me to continue to challenge this administration. You elected me to stand up for the least of God's children. You elected me to continue fighting on. And I will fight on. But what I need by my side is my sister. What I need by my side is someone who's not afraid. Someone who knows how to stand up to bullies. And someone who will use the law both as a sword and as a shield. And who'll speak truth to power. And someone who is without drama. We should not go back. We should not believe empty rhetoric. You should judge people not on their words, but their deeds. You should look at their history. You should not forget history.
She watched too much. Why am I looking that way? She watched too much MLK. And she listens to too many of these pastors, man. This sounds like she got like a Kamala coach voice speech coach or something. She's trying to appeal strictly to the black person, just sitting up there sounding a fool. We gotta, you my sisters, you gotta come after Trump with me. You know, we're gonna bring more money to this city after you take everybody's money to go after Trump. Come on, man. I've gotten to a level now with this stuff that I literally just got like these glasses that you can't even see, but I see right through it. You can't see these glasses, but I see right through this. Letitia James is looking over there like this. Come on, man.
And you should stand up for someone who believes in the future and not the history of our city and our
Oh,
state.
you forgot.
So, y'all, what do you think?
What do you think?
Do you think that it's possible that two of her staffers witnessed her declaring that she would be making Virginia her principal residence, her home state, if you will, or a house in Virginia, her home residence? Is this possible? What are the legal ramifications of this? I don't think that this would have any legal ramifications as in prison time for them. I mean, they're just witnessing a signature. But they would know, ethically speaking, that that's not the case. What were they aware of? What weren't they aware of? Lots of questions. I'm certainly not making any allegations. I'm just reporting on Sam Antar, who up to this point, he's been bringing the heat, y'all. He's been bringing the heat. So, I mean, you know, we're going to have to see what happens with this. It may be something. It may be nothing. But I'd like to know what you all think. Let me know what you think down in.
Please, guys, let me know what you're thinking about this. We all know it's clean and simple, man. They went after Trump. They failed. They're going to fail again. And this time, Letitia James, I don't think she's going to go to jail. That's my honest opinion. But what I can tell you is she's going to face a massive amount of fines. And people are going to lose jobs behind this. People are going to lose jobs. And if you don't believe me, I want to know what you think. I'm not going to disagree with you because this is all speculation right now. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you're new. And as always, let me know what to react to.